Hi guys, welcome to my boardroom YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by. I wanted to kind of start with remembering back when we were kids and we would play Monopoly. Monopoly is a very classic game and everybody loves Monopoly. There's so many different varieties of Monopoly. And I recently found this game. It's called Monopoly Millionaire. And I thought, oh, it's probably not going to be that fun, but I was very, very surprised. It is a lot of fun. And what I'd like to do here today in the boardroom is to set up the game, show you how to set it up, and then go ahead and play and teach you how to play the game so that you and your family can enjoy the game. And I think you'll be surprised. So let's go ahead and get started. So we got the instructions. First to a million wins. We've got our board here. Go ahead and get that set up. Very blingy, which I love a little bit of bling. And this is totally different. This is the money, which I think is really cool. They changed the money to cardboard, and everybody is their own banker. But for those sticky hands out there, we can watch them take their money. Keep an eye on them. Okay, so then you have your property cards. And these new cards, they're called fortune cards. So what you're going to do with these is you're going to shuffle them up a little bit, back and forth. And then you're going to lay one down on every property. So now this is a new thing from the classic. So you're going to lay them all down. And what this is these little cards have something that you have to do and or keep until it is needed. So, like for example, you could steal somebody's property and they might not be able to do anything about it. Of course, they might have the card that says just say no, and then that means that they can stop you from taking it. It's all in this nice little instruction manual, which is, it's really very easy. It's a color, easy step-by-step instructions, one of the easier game instructions that I've seen. So, okay, so you got 2 dice, and then you have your chance cards, like always. So they go on one side. Of course, I'm going to make a little mess. That's what I do. And then you're going to have, these are called Millionaire Lifestyle cards. So I'm going to explain that. Okay, one moment. We'll first go ahead and set the properties out like you would in classic game. That is your Paradise Island and Fortune Valley are your like boardwalk and park place. So, and then you've got your other properties, and everybody pays for their own thing, and then they can grab their own thing. If other people were playing, it might be a little bit neater than this, but we'll make do. Okay, so there's the properties, and then there's a little card here that sits by each person. By the way, this is a 2 to 4 player game. So everyone gets a card. It's a reminder card, and it tells you everything that you could do in the game. So that makes it very easy. Of course, we have the houses, which is typical for Monopoly, and then also the hotels. They're also there. Here's a little twist on the game. So this is your go. So let's say I pick the plane. So with the plane, let me see here. You start off with a little paper airplane because that means your lowest salary. See the little paper airplane? You put that down. And then say the person I'm playing against is the little boat. Okay, so they're the boat. All right, so then we're just saying 2 players. It would be the same. It's always the smallest one. Okay, so now we're all set to begin. So whoever gets the highest roll goes first. So we'll say it's me. So I'm gonna have to go 5. So I start to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I got a chance card. So when you get a chance card, you have to read what it says. And it says, blew the budget on a spending spree. Downgrade your mover. So that's the thing about the mover. I'm already the littlest mover. So that will not apply to me. But I did forget one thing. We do need to give our money. So everybody gets 2 of each money. So it makes it easy. And then we'll just pretend I gave money to the other player. Alrighty. So now whenever you're going to land on a property, just like in the other Monopoly, you get a buy the property, and then if you don't want it, then the other person can auction it with you still, and then you might get it for a lower price. So let's see what happens here. I got a 2. Now remember, if you get doubles, you get to go again. So here's the turn. I landed on Lakeside Marina. I pick up the Lifestyle fortune card, and it says, normally you would keep this to yourself. It says forced deal. You swap a property card with a player of your choice. It can't be part of a complete set, like the Monopoly, the 3 sets or the 2 sets. And then you keep this until you want to use it or need to use it. So then it goes with your stuff. Okay, so now I want to buy that property. If I don't, somebody else is definitely going to buy it. It is $20,000. See, this is where everybody watches the money. Okay, so now let's just fast forward and say, oh, let me get my property, Lakeside Marina. So now if anybody lands on my property, and I have to be paying attention, of course. If I'm not, they can get away with it. Anybody has to pay $15,000. Okay? So let's just fast forward and say I'm coming around to this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So when I get my 6, okay, I would have went past go. So now I collect money for go. So when the difference here is when you pass go, when you're the littlest item that you have, which in my case is the plane, the paper plane, you get 150,000. But if you want to upgrade to a higher paying level, then you have to give 50,000 because it's 150. So I'm only going to take 100. And then that way, now I'm the middle size plane. So some of these cards are representative of your pay. So let's just say, well, I landed on the Millionaire Lifestyle. Okay, so now I get to grab one of these. That's this card right here. So it says Millionaire Lifestyle. Rent out your jet ski. And then 1, a 3, or a 5. So the 1 is the plane, the little paper plane. And then this is the 3, which is just a little bit bigger plane. And then, of course, then when you get the biggest pay, you get the big jet. So, but this time, since I am the middle one, I have to pay, or no, I collect $25,000. So, yay, go me. I get money. So, $25,000. So now this is how you play the game. You just keep going back and forth. Everybody is going to either buy the property, or if they don't, then they can say, okay, now it's up for auction. So let's see if I land on a property and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I land on this property and I have another fortune card. That's another way for you to tell what properties are still available if it still has that card. So it says free house. Build a house for free on any complete color set you own. Keep until needed. So it helps you pay for your houses. But again, you only can use one at a time, and you don't use it until you need it. So I don't know if I want to buy Dream Avenue. I think I'm going to auction it. So let's pretend somebody else is playing with me, and I say, okay, because I'm trying to get it for less money. So I'm going to say 5,000. Well, of course, they're going to say 10, and then we're going to go back and forth, and we might end up surpassing the amount of what it was to begin with. But then I'm also trying to bid them up to spend more of their money. Because the whole object of this game is first to $1 million wins. No matter how you get there, it's get to $1 million and you win. And that includes your cash. So you keep counting, keep track. And then if you have any properties or whatever, if that's one way that you can do it. But mainly the cash is the easiest, quickest way. I would prefer to do it that way. So they bought it and they got it for $30,000. And so that's what an auction is. So another interesting thing is free parking. Now we all know free parking, you put money in the middle every time you had to pay a luxury tax or a utility fee or something like that. Well, here the bank is in free parking, so that's why it's just a free space. You just sit there. You still have the classic in jail, just visiting. If you go to jail, just like before, you can pay $50,000 to get out. Well, I think it's went up quite a bit because I think it's $50 in the original Monopoly. So you pay that and then you can get out. Or you can stay in there and try to roll doubles. If you do not roll doubles after the third time, if you chose to stay, then you have to pay the $50,000 anyway to get out. If you roll doubles 3 times on the board, you also can go to jail. So those are good things to be mindful of. So basically it just goes back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so now let's say I have a Monopoly. That's when you have all of the set. So these are mine here. And I don't feel like I'm getting enough money, so I'm going to start adding houses. So on the cards, it will say at the bottom of the card, it will say 15,000 or whatever it is for each section. But this one happens to be $15,000 each. So then that would be $45,000. Now, of course, remember that card I told you about. I can take that card, the free house card, and I can turn that in, and then one of my houses is free. So then I'm only going to pay $30,000 for cards. For houses. Okay, so you can keep doing that. You have to do it evenly. You can't just do 2 here and 3 there and 4 there. So then let's just say fast forward, I've got my 4 houses and now I'm ready to buy hotels. So to do that, each time you do it, you have to add your house amount times 3. So in order to get times 4, it's 16, it's 12 houses and 4 more houses for hotels. So it would be 16 times 15. It's a good amount of money. So that's why you kind of build it over time. So now I got a hotel and I keep hoping and praying somebody's going to land on me. And let's just say they do. Okay, the big boat's coming down and he lands on me. So now I have hotels and it's Surfer's Cove and it's going to cost $125,000. So see, the money really starts adding up once you have the hotels. So good little tip. If you're going to own not very many properties, it's really good to get a corner, because in that space somebody is going to land, more than likely. There's not enough empty spaces. So count on trying to get corners if you can't get the big properties. So then that continues on, and then the money keeps growing and growing and says, oh, I've made this and I've made that. And you could get another card that makes you go back to go, and you lose your big plane, and now I'm back to the small plane. I went all the way down to the small plane. So now my income isn't as much, but it's getting closer to the end of the game. So in order to win the game, like I said, you have to get to 1 million. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I got about 700,000 here, so I'm not quite there yet. But say that somebody landed on me and they hardly had any money left. So what they could do, say that these right here were their properties, okay? So what they can do to pay me back, say they only have 200 and they owe me like 500,000 or something. They can turn these over. When you turn these over, you get more money. It's 40,000, 40,000, and 40,000. So they can do that. It's still their property. Or you can take a hotel off and you can get money for that too. Still property, but the only way to use that property again or get money for it is to pay for it again and then turn it over. But that's how they would dwindle down to their very last dollar. So fast forward with these Millionaire Lifestyle cards. So say I want to take, they have what we would consider Boardwalk and Park Place. Okay, so they would have those two cards, and I really, well actually I have one of them. Let's put it that way. I have one and I want to get that Monopoly. Okay, so I'm going to use this card that says swap a property card with a player of your choice. It can't be a part of a complete set. So then I could take one that I have, a low one, and then take their card, and then I have a Monopoly. Also, they could come back and throw a card down, one of these fortune cards that says just say no, and that can be on any of the situations that you can think of in the game. You can just say no and stop them from taking it or doing something against you. So basically each one of these cards just kind of makes it a little more interesting. You don't know what to expect or when to expect it. So I really think this adds a lot to the game. And changing the amount of income that you make depending on what size your mover is makes it very interesting. So you come around and say somebody lands on Lakeside Marina, and I've got this one's 125 as well. Well, you don't have enough money. You're just trying to turn the cards over and get what you can, and you can't. And I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. And then I got that on my next turn. Let's see, that's 8. That's 9. That's 950. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I don't even have to do anything more. I won. I made it to $1 million. I'm the winner. So that means everyone else at the table loses. So it's a challenging game in the fact that you got to get to the million first. It's not about necessarily bankrupting anybody. It's also about getting the most money, which who doesn't love money? So anyway, that is Monopoly Millionaire. It is pretty quick moving. It takes I would say probably about an hour to play. And I really enjoy it. I think that, it wouldn't take very long for anyone to learn it. And I think that most people would also enjoy it. So thank you so much for coming to the boardroom and hanging out with me. And if you like this channel, please subscribe and follow along. And we'll have lots more games to show you how to play. Take care, guys.